Welcome to another edition of Table Talk with the Mayor. I'm here with Mayor Randy Hope. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Very well.
One nice thing about it, sun shining.
Spring is on the way.
It's got to be.
It's got to be. And we've had some trouble with woodlots over the past little while. How do you see this resolving? Like, what do you see as the fallout?
Well, I think what needs to occur is you've got two groups that feel very passionate, the general public who's in the center. And what we need to do is bring the passionate groups together, move in an expeditious way. I mean, last night we heard about studies that are out there already been done, work's been done for years. It's about getting the groups together and how do you create a, you know, they call it a tree coverage bylaw, but I think it needs to be more about how do we create natural habitats throughout. And I use the terminology throughout. I mean, it's called woodlots, it could be called green spaces, it could be called for natural filtration ponds, dealing with sediments into the Great Lakes. There's a larger thing than just about trees, and I think we're missing the boat if we focus on one specific. We should be talking about a broader scope of a number of things, filtration of the waters, the drainage into the Great Lakes, you know, about tree coverage, and what the municipality really needs to do too, because it's not just about farmers, how the urban settings need to make sure that they're putting trees. So I think we really need to quit drawing the line in the sand, and I think people really need to get to the table and come up with a comprehensive that is a made-in-Chatham-Kent solution, not somebody else's, but a Chatham-Kent solution. Okay.
Last night there was an awful lot of emotion, like you say, around the table about what's going on. Is there a gap that you see that's insurmountable, or is this one of the widest gaps you've seen around? Or?
Well, I think it's people that just take passionate positions. I mean, you know, to say that council doesn't care about, you know, trees and green, that's wrong. I mean, if you actually listen to the presentation before that, it talked about urban guidelines and SMI and other communities. And it talked about planting some trees. It talked about creating green spaces. It talked about how you place your urban settings so that it's more comfortable. So it is part of the council's agenda. Just because not everybody agrees with everybody doesn't mean you don't support. I think council is really key on making sure that, number one, tree lines are established in our communities to make sure that, you know, we're stopping the amount of snow going on our highways and stuff like that. We're working with the agricultural community and the, you know, environmentalist and the naturalist, especially those who understand trees better than I do, to make sure that we're doing things that preserve the lands, preserve habitat, and, you know, make sure that the air in our communities are filtered.
Okay. I got a little tour from one of the woodlot protesters out there. It took a couple hours, and we went around all the different sites and saw the woodlots that are being taken down. There was talk at the time that there's going to be a bus tour of municipal officials to do so. Has that taken place yet, or is that something that you know about? Or?
I mean, I don't need a bus tour to take me around. I actually drive around this community, so I know exactly what's going on. I've seen some of the sites they do. You know, you got to go a flashback in your mind of what it used to look like, because, you know, sometimes you see a wooded lot and you see a pile of wood. Well, you know, you got to question that. But, you know, if somebody else is willing to do that, that's fine. I know nothing about a bus tour, so I'm well out of the loop on that then, I guess.
All right then. We also have International Women's Day coming up here in Chatham-Kent. There's local retailers participating. That's something that's.
I think it's really important. You know, we've come a long way in our society. There's more to do, but there's still issues out there. I mean, whether it's you're walking in high-heel red shoes to support the Walk a Mile on a Woman, or whether it's on International Women's Day that you're supporting the initiatives and bringing awareness. I mean, you know, and the restaurants around Chatham-Kent, and not only in the city of Chatham, but around Chatham-Kent, are supporting this initiative. So, I mean, it's great to see that businesses and others, you're raising the awareness. You're doing it in a very, I hate to use the word, but a very tasteful manner, because, you know, you're supporting restaurant industries, you're supporting the local economy, at the same time delivering a message. So I'm hoping that more people will pay attention and will take part in the activities that go on.
Okay. Other question, we're talking about removing plastic bottles from municipal events and things like this. Is that something that the city's been looking forward to doing?
Well, you know, it's something that was presented at council last night, and it's something we seriously need to consider. I mean, but there is also a number of strategies out there dealing with this whole issue. And, you know, again, you just don't want to knee-jerk react to a situation. You want to make sure that you have a wholesome place. You're forgetting, I mean, one people sometimes have a tendency to forget is Chatham-Kent wants to become a healthier place. So we have to, we have the health cabinet that's been established. We have the public health unit that's been doing a lot of work, even everything from babies to seniors and everything else. So, I mean, when we implement strategies or policies, we got to make sure that we have, ideas are great, but the execution is so important that we have it laid out. And sometimes we've done mistakes by that in the past. We've had an idea, we think we have all the answers, we execute and find out we make mistakes. We need to understand what we're doing, and then from there, understand the direction, and implement the policy in a strategic way that doesn't add harm. And I say add harm as, we want people to be physically active, we want all this stuff, but do we have water fountains that are accessible? Do we have stores that are participating? Do we have, where somebody can take their bottle and refill it up? We've got to make sure we have the network in place to support an initiative. Is it something we need to do? Definitely, we all need to protect our environment. But the thing is to make sure that we come up with a comprehensive way that will support the people to make the switch. You can't say remove water bottles and not provide a mechanism to support drinking water.
Right.
And I'd like people to use more water too, because you know what? We own our Public Utilities Commission, so it's our water that you're purchasing.
A couple hours ago, the CKReview broke the story of the Chatham-Kent firefighter causing an arson that burned down a business in Berlin. And it's just an accusation at this point, there's nobody been convicted. Would that be very disappointing to the municipality? That you have a
Well, I mean, like any legal issues or criminal issues, there's a process in our municipality that must be adhered to. I will let that process establish itself. For the mayor to make comment about an incident that occurred, I don't think is proper, nor is inside my preview right now to do so.
If you have a question for Mayor Randy Hope that you'd like to see on Table Talk with the Mayor, send it to tabletalk@ckreview.ca. Victor Boutin's construction on King Street, it's coming along?
It's coming along. I mean, we're just waiting for a date from the company to come in and say we're ready to start the thing. The company has been chosen who will do the shoring up and all that stuff. So I'm itching at it too. I want to get started because I want to put a lot of not too optimistic talk out there that it's not going to happen. It is going to happen. We're just trying to make sure everything is in place. I mean, the problem is people really don't understand the comprehensive analysis that needs to go on, and especially when you're dealing with an 11-story building that is going to be located near the river. And you have to make sure that it's done right. We don't want any catastrophes. We don't want anything. So it's got to be done proper. And I compliment Victor and his team for taking the time, contrary to public pressure, to make sure that it's executed properly.
All right, and is there anything else on the agenda for the mayor that's upcoming?
Well, there's all kinds of stuff coming on the agenda of the mayor and the agenda of councils, but I guess people will just have to stay tuned.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's been another edition of Table Talk with the Mayor this week. We'll see you again next week. Have a good week.